Plato once said, "We can easily forgive a child who is afraid of the dark. The real tragedy of life is when men are afraid of the light." These words belong to one of the greatest thinkers of the ancient world, a philosopher who dared to question the nature of reality itself. Born in Athens around 427 BC, Plato was a student of Socrates and the teacher of Aristotle, forming a trio of philosophers who fundamentally shaped Western thought. Plato's ideas, his wisdom, continue to resonate today, centuries after he first shared them. Central to his philosophy is the Allegory of the Cave, a metaphorical narrative that invites us to question our perceptions and seek the truth beyond the shadows. This allegory, this story, is a journey from darkness to light, from ignorance to knowledge. Now imagine being one of those men afraid of the light. This is where our journey begins. Picture living in a dark cave, chained and unable to turn your head, seeing only shadows projected on the wall in front of you. This is the life of the prisoners in Plato's Allegory of the Cave. To them, this cave is their entire world, their universe. They've spent their entire lives shackled in this place, their necks and legs bound so they can only gaze upon the wall in front of them. The only light they know is the dim flicker from a distant fire behind them, casting shadows on the wall they face. These prisoners, they watch the dance of these shadows day in and day out. The shadows of objects, of people, of animals passing in front of the fire. They've never seen the real objects, only their shadows. So, naturally, they believe these shadows to be the ultimate reality. They've created an entire understanding of the world based on these shadows. They name them, they categorize them, they infer meanings from them. To them, the shadows are as real as you and me. It's easy to think of them as misguided, isn't it? But let's pause for a minute. This is all they've ever known. They have no concept of an outside world, of sunlight, of the depth and vibrancy of colors. Their reality is simply different from ours, but it is their reality nonetheless. And this, dear listeners, is a cornerstone of Plato's philosophy. He uses this allegory to illustrate our own limited knowledge of the world. Just like the prisoners, we too are confined to the cave of our own perceptions and understanding. We perceive the world through our senses, and we trust these perceptions to be true. But how do we know that what we perceive is the entirety of reality? What if there's more to the universe than what meets our eyes, our ears, our touch? So let's put ourselves in the shoes of these cave prisoners. If this was our reality, if we knew nothing but the shadows, how would we react? What would we think? What would we feel? What if one day, one prisoner breaks free? Consider the shock, the confusion, the fear, as this prisoner steps out of the cave and into the light for the first time. It's a jarring transition, a swift upheaval of all he's ever known. Imagine living your entire life in a virtual reality game, where the only world you know is composed of pixels and code. Suddenly you're yanked out, and you're standing in the middle of a bustling city, feeling the sun on your face, hearing the chirping of birds, and seeing the vibrant colors of life. Wouldn't it be overwhelming? That's the journey this man is embarking upon. He's stepping out from the shadows and into the sunlight, embracing the unknown. He's leaving behind the familiar darkness of the cave, his home, his prison, and venturing into the outside world. It's a world filled with light, color, and life, but it's also a world that's utterly alien to him. It's as if he's waking up from a dream that was his entire reality up until this moment. As he confronts this new reality, he's also grappling with a profound sense of disorientation and fear. The world outside the cave challenges everything he's ever known, ever believed. It's a radical shift, a complete upheaval of his understanding of the world, but it's also a journey of discovery, of enlightenment. In this journey, he's not just discovering the world outside the cave, he's also discovering himself. He's realizing that there's more to him than just a prisoner chained in a cave. He's more than just a shadow on the wall. He's a human being capable of thinking, understanding, learning, and growing. He's a being of light, stepping out of the darkness and into the light. This journey outside the cave is a metaphor for our own journeys of discovery. It's about stepping out of our comfort zones, challenging our preconceived notions, and embracing the unknown. It's about learning, growing, evolving, and becoming the best versions of ourselves. The prisoner has seen the light, but what happens when he returns to the cave? Back in the cave, our enlightened prisoner is met with disbelief and ridicule when he tries to explain the reality outside. Picture the scene. A man returns to his old comrades, his eyes glittering with newfound knowledge, his words hinting at a world beyond their comprehension. He tries to tell them about the sun, the grass, the endless sky, but they laugh it off. Their reality is the cave, the shadows, the darkness. They cannot fathom a world beyond their own. This is not just a tale from a bygone era. It's a reflection of our society today, where truth is often met with skepticism and denial. It's a mirror held up to our own lives, our own realities. We scoff at new ideas, dismiss them as fantasies. We fear what we do not understand. We reject what threatens our worldview. But what if these prisoners are us? What if the cave is our world? In this allegory, Plato challenges us to question our perception of reality. This ancient philosopher prompts us to consider, what if everything we think we know, all our beliefs and assumptions, are merely shadows on a cave wall? What if our perceived reality is in fact a mere illusion, a construct of our limited perspective? The allegory of the cave is a metaphor for the human condition, where we are often prisoners of our own misconceptions. It's a stark reminder of the importance of seeking knowledge, of striving to see beyond the shadows. Because only through questioning, through discerning the difference between reality and illusion, can we truly begin to understand the world and our place within it. But remember, questioning isn't an end in itself, rather it's a means to an end. It's a journey towards enlightenment, towards a deeper understanding of reality. So the question to ponder upon is, are we truly seeing the world as it is, or are we just seeing the shadows on the wall?